Here is another video about the Israel-Palestine conflict. If you're sick of me talking about this, well, too fucking bad. This is a major event that involves the ongoing genocide of a group of people, so you have the free will to click off this video if you're so sick of it anyway. This video is going to hit a little bit close to home for me, however, because I'm going to be talking about an ongoing controversy relating to this event that's going on at my college currently. The other day, I was walking on campus on my way to class, and then I noticed in front of the building where my class takes place in, a large group of students waving around Palestinian flags. Of course, I have no issue with this whatsoever. It was a peaceful demonstration of students showcasing their support for Palestinians. And then security comes in and breaks up the demonstration and says something along these lines: "You can make your voice heard, but not like this." Now that is very obviously bullshit, and I'm vehemently against security in this situation because while I only witnessed the last few minutes of this demonstration, they weren't doing anything more than just waving around flags and chanting. And then this dissolved into a shouting match between several students and security, and I couldn't witness much of this because I had a class to go to. On my way into the building, I noticed a shit ton of chalk writing on the concrete. A lot of it was just your typical Free Palestine and genocide. I even saw a couple of fuck Joe Bidens in there. But then I also noticed some messages directed towards my college, saying that it supports genocide, fuck the president of my college. I'm not gonna say his name for privacy reasons. This made me wonder what the fuck this was all about, because I thought this was just a normal pro-Palestine demonstration on my college campus. So after my class, when I was on break, I decided to look into what exactly is going on. And then I find out this all stems from an Instagram story from my college's Muslim Association. Now, before I read what this story says, I want to preface and say I have no fucking clue if this Instagram is officially affiliated with my college, or if it's just a student-run Instagram page, or maybe it is owned by my college, but some students do have access to the Instagram page. With that out of the way, let's finally read this. There is zero evidence that Palestinians deliberately killed women and children. There is a great deal of video evidence that they deliberately avoided targeting women and children. There is nothing wrong with Palestinians taking prisoners of war in their struggle against the Zionist terror occupation. We cannot allow the Zionist false narrative become the accepted history of what happened. Resist. Here's more. Whenever people claim they've seen October 7th footage of baby killing, women raping, etc., it goes back to an Israeli foreign ministry source. There is no independent international body that has evaluated the evidence and concluded that Israel's claims of atrocities actually took place. Their strategy has always been, say it enough times until it becomes accepted fact. And then, after this Instagram story made rounds, the president of my college issued out an email to all students condemning this and saying that this Instagram story is not reflective of the college's views whatsoever. He also says that the NYPD has been contacted and the student responsible for this Instagram story will face consequences. And then outrage ensued. Now look, you know me, I fucking hate the Israeli government, and I am absolutely on the side of the innocent Gazans who have done nothing wrong and are having bombs dropped on them currently. However, I am never going to play apologetics for Hamas. I really don't like this Instagram story because it does not distinguish between regular Palestinians in Gaza and Hamas. And this student is talking out of both sides of their mouth because on one hand, they're outright denying what happened on October 7th, but on the other hand, they're saying, well, if it did happen, that's perfectly okay because Palestinians are taking in prisoners of war. Much of those who Hamas took hostage of were regular Israeli civilians who took no part in the slaughter of innocent Palestinians. Hamas also attacked a music festival that also had a lot of tourists in attendance. A lot of those tourists were also kidnapped by Hamas. What the fuck did they have to do with the slaughter of Palestinians? This is not an Instagram story that simply expresses support for Palestine. This is an Instagram story that denies a terrorist attack, while at the same time saying, well, if the terrorist attack did happen, it was a good thing. And this post says Palestinians in place of Hamas, as if all Palestinian civilians are in favor of what Hamas did, and in favor of Hamas in general, when in reality, and I've said this before in a couple of other videos, a lot of Gazans actually supported a ceasefire. They were not in favor of Gaza attacking Israel in this fashion, because they knew that what we're seeing going on currently was likely going to be the outcome. So many innocent Gazans being bombed. And this Instagram post only feeds into the vile Zionist narrative that all Gazans are terrorists and they need to be wiped out. Because again, this Instagram story does not distinguish between regular Palestinian civilians and Hamas, much in the same vein that a lot of Zionists don't see a difference between regular Palestinian civilians and Hamas. You're just doing it in a different fashion by saying, this is Palestinians rising up against colonialism. And speaking of Zionists, I have seen some prominent Zionist accounts on Twitter pick this story up and use it to say, see, Palestine supporters hate us. They're in favor of terrorism. They either outright deny what happened on October 7th or condone it. This Instagram story has done nothing, fucking nothing, besides serve as ammo for Zionists to use to further smear those who support Palestine. And at that point, when this shit gains that much traction, do you really fucking blame my college for coming out and saying, yes, we disavow this student's Instagram story? This Instagram story would have already been bad if the student had posted it on their personal Instagram account. But this was posted on an account that was either directly or indirectly affiliated with my college. And it outright condones and denies a terrorist attack. What the fuck else did you expect my college to say in response to this? And it's so fucking frustrating because I follow my college on Instagram, and out of curiosity, I've been checking their Instagram page in wake of this controversy, and all of the replies under their recent posts are just, you support genocide. You're unfairly targeting this Muslim student who did nothing wrong besides just express support for Palestine. Which I really fucking hope that all of these students who are outraged didn't bother to actually read the Instagram story and only heard about a Muslim student supposedly being unfairly targeted by my college, because if not, Jesus fucking Christ, my college is overrun with brain rot. Look, contacting police on this student is fucked up. I do not condone that whatsoever. The college definitely overstepped their boundaries when they did that, because all this student did at the end of the day was post a dumb Instagram story. There were no threats contained in this story whatsoever. And yes, that does feed into the narrative that Muslims are inherently dangerous. Protest that. Go against that. Don't say that this student did nothing wrong besides just express support for Palestine, because that is absolutely not the fucking case. They justified and denied terrorism. I hate Israeli apartheid as much as the next person, but that absolutely does not fucking mean I'm gonna go to bat for killing Israeli civilians and tourists. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye. Also obligatory, this is not my college campus in the picture. It is some other college. I have no clue what fucking college this is in the picture, but it is not mine. So do not ask, please. Anyway, for real now, bye.